VEVE has just announced what the Master Collector is going to entail, and it's insane. So in this video, we're going to be discussing the main points and going over the article so you have all the knowledge you need to know before it gets started. Let's get into it. Welcome everyone, my name is Andy and I appreciate you taking some time to come and watch this video on the channel. Today we are going to be talking about the Master Collector program. Before we get started, this isn't financial advice, just my own experience. Please do your own research. I literally made a video yesterday on the Master Collector from the AMA, and it just shows me I need to be more up to date on the videos that I'm bringing out, but uni has just been overflowing everything and we're trying our best to keep up with all the news that is coming out because holy crap, it's been a lot. So we're going to be talking about the Master Collector program. We have the article, we have everything we need to know. This is just the first initial statement of it, but I'm going to be talking through it and then giving you some points and some advice on maybe what you could be looking at moving forward with how the Master Collector is actually going to run. So let's get into it. Now the first note, and I want people to really just pay attention to this. This is a work in progress plan. This information below is an initial outline of the various elements in the Master Collector program. Details are subject to change based on development and feedback. Now a lot of people have been a little bit upset on some of the areas that they have spoken about. Now granted, it's been mostly positive, but remember, this is just a first initial drop of what it might and potentially is going to be. Things are going to change. They've listened to us throughout this whole time of us supporting the company. They're not just going to stop now, so there will be changes made. Just believe in the company and trust the process. There is a summary here. If someone doesn't want to read all of it, you can pause it here, but I'm going to go through it in a more deeper understanding and sort of my understanding with what's going to be happening and maybe comparing it to some of my future thoughts and what I'm hoping for with it moving forward. Let's look at the leveling point system. In order to level up, a collector must earn points, and points are awarded in collectors for in-app activity. For example, points can be earned for a one-off action such as purchasing a collectible and or earned by daily owning collectibles or holding completed sets. Once earned, points can be spent on various things in the app and are not transferable. Points can be earned from the following activities. Now there's one-off points here where you get a certain amount of points for onboarding, completing a set, purchasing a collectible in the store, and then you also get daily recurring points on things that you have in the app. So this could probably be logging onto the app, this could be sharing it on the newsfeed, commenting on someone's post, that sort of stuff. There could be things that you can earn daily throughout. But you also see here the points that we're going to be getting. For 1 point for each collectible owned, if duplicates are held, these will be subject to diminishing points, which I really like. I know there was some confusion on maybe what was going to happen to duplicate sets and duplicate sort of just collectibles themselves. So this is a better understanding of what you're going to get, and it is going to diminish the more that you earn. So if you have bought 9,000 comics of the one thing, then yes, you're going to get less points in relation to that, but maybe there's still a formula that you could use to purchase more commons than a secret rare or more uncommons than a secret rare and getting more points in that sense. Now there are rarity bonuses for each edition. Last time in the AMA, we were told, from what I gathered anyway, that we were only going to get points based on common, uncommon, rare, and ultra rare, and then secret rare would be different. But now they've given points to each individual one. So 0.2 bonus for rare, 0.3 bonus for ultra rare, and 0.5 bonus for secret rare. Secret rare one is probably going to change. This was the thing that got the most backlash on Twitter last night, was the secret rare, because people are paying thousands more for a secret rare instead of an ultra rare and they're only getting a 0.2 of a bonus. In that instance, you're better to buy the ultra rare and the rare, and you're matching the secret rare with what you're actually getting with the bonus. I presume the secret rare will be changing and it'll be quite a hefty bonus for having that, but I guess we'll see. And also another really interesting one was low edition bonus. 0.5 points for collectibles with a sub 150 mint and 0.5 points digital comics with the first 150 available to the public. Now this again is amazing. It's going to be a really interesting thing to see how the market actually works in regards to this. I believe a lot of the sub 150 mints would have shot up last night for things that were quite cheap. With the Marvel 1s comic, I bought the common 774, which is 274 above its available one, so I was a little bit gutted that I bought that one. They have a lower number one, but again, that was the only one I could afford at the time. I do have a few sub 150 mints. I think I have maybe 2 or 3, which is going to be exciting because you're going to get points for doing that. I know a lot of the OGs will be heavily benefiting from this instance, so it will be interesting to see what happens with that. And then with these completed sets offer a varying number of collectibles, the points earned are based on the number of collectibles within the set. Now that's a really interesting point, the number of collectibles. So you get 6 points if the collection in itself has 5 collectibles or more, 5 points for 4, 3.5, 2.5, 1.5. It's really interesting the way that they've done this. So the more collectibles that are in the set, the more points that you're going to get. Now, yes, this could destroy the likes of Captain Carter's price a little bit. However, at the end of the day, you're probably going to be paying more for the 5 collectible sets in order to get the 6 points. So there's still going to be a balance here in there. I'm not too sure if they'll change that or how they'll react, but I'm guessing we'll see as the point system is actually released if this works well, or maybe if things could be changed. Again, we've got the diminishing points for unique sets compared to the amount of sets that you have. So the second set, 30% points versus unique. Third is the 20%, and fourth set is 10%. So this is based on the number of collectibles within the set for the diminishing returns, which is always a great one. And the example that they've given, if you get 2 Superman sets, we get 1.95 points daily. One Superman would get 1.5 points, and the second Superman would get 0.45. So that gives you a better understanding of what you're going to be getting for holding sets with only 1, and then what it could rise up to if you're holding ones that have 5 or more collectibles within them. This is where we go into the digital comic series. If a collector owns all released issues in a specific series, they will receive 5 points daily. For example, if VEVE have released 4 issues of Amazing Spider-Man and a collector owns all 4 issues, they will receive daily points for each issue, plus 5 points for owning all released comic issues in this series. Now that is a really interesting one. I really like this. And if an additional issue is released in the series, one must collect that issue as well as to continue earning the comic series points. A comic series qualifies for points when 3 or more issues in the series have been dropped in VEVE. But I don't quite understand this one, and I'd love for you to tell me in the comments if I'm wrong here. But I have 2 trains of thoughts here. One is that if you collect all 4 commons of the Amazing Spider-Man that have been released so far, you're going to get an extra 5 points related to the Master Collector program. Or the other train of thought I have is that you have to have all of the issues of all 4 series of the Amazing Spider-Man and every other series that they release in order to get the daily points. Now, I'm not too sure if that's the case. One must collect that issue as well to continue earning the comic series points. It qualifies for when more than 3 issues are in the series have dropped. Now, I don't know if that is just commons. Maybe it is. And if that is, then I'll be sure to keep you updated on what's going on, and I'll put it in the comments whenever I learn about that and what that is, because there's an AMA tonight. Let's move further on, because that was really exciting actually, that I hadn't picked that up from the previous one. Now, in-app activity, this is what we talked about before. 1 point is received for all in-app activities. In-app activities, maximum of 25 points in a day. And this includes daily login, sharing, commenting, liking. This is things we talked about before. And this is where we move on to earning points. Points are earned on activities and transactions that take place within VEVE, and recurring points stop accruing after 14 days of inactivity. Points have a shelf life and must be spent within 6 months of earning. There would have been an indication in the app on the amount of points needed to be spent before a certain date. And points are calculated and applied once per 24-hour period at a set time each day. Points have 2 decimal places. Earned points may change during periods of time. Double point bonus days. Now this is really exciting. This allows us to know that we have 6 months to spend the points from when we earn it, and also recurring points stop after 14 days of not being on the app. Now this is sort of about gamification. This is about game theory, where it's keeping your retention on the app. This is why games are so popular today, and we're going to actually be going into this just after we've talked about this and why this is so important. But this is a great move for VEVE in the right direction. Retain more within the app itself. And when it moves on to talking about retroactive points and safety measures, when the MCP is officially launched, level points will be calculated from the time a collector's VEVE account was created. The number of points received will only be calculated based on the number of collectibles and sets the collector owns in that time, and collectors will also receive a one-off point for store purchases, market purchases, and completed sets. And there will be additional measures in place to prevent users from exploiting, abusing, or otherwise gaming the system, so don't make any rash decisions about your collections or purchase activity based on this article. This is really great. We talked about this in the previous Master Collector program video, that you are going to get points based on when you actually started in the app, rather than everyone starting at the same on that day. And I think this is a good reward for the OGs who started in season 1, people who started way before me as well. I started the 3rd of April, so people would be way before me back in October of 2020. This is a good way to reward those people who have been believing in the company for that long, and to give them a little bit of a head start to potentially earn some of the things that we're going to be talking about a little bit later on in this article. This article is a lot and I'm just loving to go through it, so bear with me. I really do hope you're enjoying it so far. This is where we get on to the really interesting stuff: levels, ranks, and badges. The Master Collector program consists of levels and ranks. Levels start at level 0, new user, and increase as the collector earns points. Each VEVE collector also has a rank, and a collector's rank position is determined by their activity relative to other collectors. For example, the top percentile of collectors will likely have a high level in the rank of Master Collector. To level up, the collector must earn the required points to go from level 1 to the next, and each level has a required amount of points. When enough points are earned, the collector will level up, and leveling is exponential and more points are required as the levels get higher. Each collector's level is displayed on their profile page. Within the MCP badge, collector's level shows wherever their profile is visible, such as on their profile page, feed posts, or market listings. And as collectors reach specific milestone levels, they will gain access to items and new or expanded features within VEVE. For example, milestone 3D level badges for 1 every 10 levels displayed in the showrooms, expanded profile, a free number of premium market listings, expanded AR features, drop lottery access, accessories, exclusive content, level-based chat rooms, and more. This is something to pay attention to. They are going to be given exclusive benefits to those who are higher up in the ranks and those who maintain activity on the app and continue to show up each day and each week in order to get that higher level. This is a fantastic way of bringing in more people to the app and retaining people more for the long run. As I've said in previous videos, VEVE isn't going to be about drops in the future. VEVE is going to have drops and it's going to be a specific aspect of that, but it's not going to be solely about drops. There's going to be so much more that you can do within the VEVEverse, within the app, and with what they're actually trying to build. As Reese said, he wants to potentially aim for the sort of Disneyland of VEVE. And with the Disney announcement being made, that reality is looking closer than we actually thought. Now, of course, this is going to be a decade-long plan. This isn't something that just happens overnight. So don't just start screaming on Twitter about asking them when it's coming, because this is a very long game and a very long time away. We're just at the starting place of getting there. This is where we talk about the rank. Along with levels, the MCP consists of 23 ranks, and the collector's rank is based on their position relative to other VEVE collectors. The lowest rank is Bronze 1 and the highest rank is Master Collector. The 23 ranks are divided based on percentages. For example, the highest rank, Master Collector, is reserved for the top percentile of collectors. And unlike levels, ranks are not static or kept permanently. As a collector, your rank position can move up or down based on your performance relative to other collectors. For example, you might be a mid-tier rank, and if your rank was to increase, you may replace a collector in a higher rank who would move down a rank position. Badges, it's just badges that you're going to get for completing sets and they're collectors, and they're shown on your profile, so you can have those as well. But the rank is what I'm going to pay attention to here. This is what most games do. Rocket League does this, Apex does this. You're going to be a certain rank for a certain percentile of the gamers or of the people who are a part and participating in the app. So the more time you spend on the app, the more you're going to be rewarded if you're doing the right things. You know, of course, there's going to be strategies towards this. And I know Nio has talked about some of the benefits of getting certain sets. And also we have a few who have went into depth on what you can do as a strategy when it comes to the MCP. And I can do this if this is something you'd like to see on the channel. So let me know down in the comments. But this is really, really interesting. It's going to be 23 different ranks and it's going to be determined of how you spend your time on the app, what collections you buy, all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be based on your performance. And again, if someone is a massive collector from back in season 1, and you think, how the hell am I going to compete with them? This gives you an opportunity to see that they are focusing on people who are active in the app, but are rewarding people who were there from the start. So it's going to be a hard balance in the beginning from what I can see. It will be a lot of the OGs will have a lot more points than other people, but as they spend those points in the drop lottery, which we're going to be talking about next, and as they spend those points on other things, then people who are lower down and can't put in the same amount of money are going to be able to work their way up. So in the beginning, I reckon there'll be a little bit of backlash as people just cry over everything nowadays, but I see it leveling itself off over a period of time, and we'll be able to see how that runs when it actually is released. I'm telling you, this article is nuts. There's so much to it, and we've got the next one, which is the drop lottery system. The MCP drop lottery gives collectors a greater chance to obtain a specific collectible in an upcoming drop. A small percentage of editions of each rarity in a drop will be made available for this lottery, and users can participate in a drop lottery by wagering points they have earned. The odds of winning a lottery are weighted by the number of points a collector wagers relative to other drop lottery participants. In the top group of people, number varies depending on the base of additions per drop. Who wager the most amount of points are guaranteed the collectible. This is not a raffle system. Now, a few things to note here. When you wager your points that you earn through in-app activity, coming on, holding sets and all that sort of stuff, there's going to be a small percentage of additions that are held for this lottery system. Meaning, say I had 10,000 points and I put all 10,000 points into this lottery system of potentially wagering it away to battle up against other people who are in VEVE and really want this drop as well. So they wager their points in too. What will happen is that you will be weighed against these other people of odds of actually getting that drop before everyone else. So you don't actually have to worry about trying to go for it in the public sale. You're basically getting whitelisted to getting that collectible. They've also mentioned that there's going to be the top group of people. So if you are someone who's put 10,000 points in, but everyone else has put maximum of 9,000 points, then that means you are going to be guaranteed to get that drop. You're not wagering against other people at this point. You're guaranteeing yourself that drop, which I think is a really, really good system. And I think it's a good way to incentivize the big players, especially in the beginning, to spend their points, which levels off the system quicker. Now, of course, there's going to be a few downfalls to this in the beginning. If there's a really, really good drop when this first comes out and only the OGs have the big enough points to go for, then maybe it's going to cause a little bit of backlash. Again, I'm here for the long run. I'm not thinking short term. All those who are thinking short term are the ones who are going to be complaining, so don't worry about that too much. Let's see how this works and how they've described it a little bit more in order to gauge a better understanding. At a set time before the drop, the MCP drop lottery will open to those collectors with the required level of access. Now, take that into account, the required level of access. This to me shows that they are trying to focus on making sure that the bot accounts or the ones that are really not accounts that are used cannot get into this drop lottery system. They have to spend time on the app. They have to use their money. They have to spend their time on the app in order to get in for this. So this is going to be an interesting concept to see if this will balance out some of the counter arguments that people have had in regards to the bots getting the drops and an unfair advantage on that front. Maybe that allows more people who are genuinely loyal to VEVE itself and the app to get these for the public sale. The collector can choose which collectible and rarity they want to wager points on, and the number of collectors wagering on a collectible will be shown, but the amount wagered will not. All points wagered in the MCP drop lottery are spent post-drop, regardless of whether the lottery was won or not. The MCP drop lottery will close a short time before a drop, and then the winners are announced. The winner must claim the collectible before the drop takes place, and if a collectible is not claimed before the drop, it is returned to the public drop pool. When a winning collectible is claimed, the collector is prompted to make the payment in gems, and the other collectible will be delivered to their collection post-drop. Now this again is interesting and it's some things to pay attention to. You're going to be able to see the number of collectors who are wagering on the collectible, but not the amount that they're wagering. So you're not going to be able to like add more points in because someone else put in more points. You're just going to be see the number of people who are wagering against this, and you're going to be able to gauge the balance of this, see how many people are getting in, maybe if it's worth going in or not. Maybe if it's something that you really, really want, then you're going to have to probably up your game as you'll see more people going for it. But who knows? We'll see that over time. And the MCP drop lottery will close a short time before the drop. So you've got to make sure that you're on the app to get in with the lottery system, and also on the app to see if you've won the lottery system. As if you get on there, you've spent your points and you win it, and then you don't get it in time because it goes back into the public pool and you've not got time to get it, then you're going to probably lose your points and you're not even going to get your collectible. So you've just wasted points, you've wasted your time, and you might not even get it in the public drop. So this is going to be important to note. If you really want something, make sure you've got the time to dedicate just to take a little bit of time away to make sure that you've won it or you've not, and see what happens there. And also within the store, various accessories will be made available for purchase using points. Accessories that can be purchased with points will generally be non-licensed, high edition items, allowing collectors to check out their showrooms. This again just adds to the gamification. It helps with the accessories, it helps with your vault, and when we've got showroom 2.0, and when we're adding things in the future like the VEVE house in our VEVEverse, then these things are going to be really, really good. They just add to the game, they allow people to spend their points, they create a better ecosystem within it. It's just a good addition I think we all saw coming, and it was important for VEVE to have this sort of things when it's non-licensed, because they're probably going to have to work with a legal team and all that in order to get these happening. Some things will definitely be accessories in regards to this, but this is an important note and actually a really, really good point. There's two other things that they had mentioned, and we've talked about this in the video that I'd made, and they talked about this in the MA, but I'm going to be talking about it just to finalize everything that's going on. Premium market listings allow for greater exposure when selling items on the VEVE market. Collectors can spend points from premium market listings, which will display before non-premium listings for any given collectible. And to prevent the market from being overrun with premium listings, only a select number of premium listings will be available for any one collectible. Premium listings will be featured on the market over the landing screen as well as when viewing specific collectibles. For me, I'm not too bothered about this. It's not something that's groundbreaking. I get it. It allows you to spend more points. Again, it helps the ecosystem. It really is going to depend on how they move forward. I've already talked about the marketplace and how I believe they could improve it. So until those other features are brought in, I don't really care about the premium market listings. I won't be using it. Maybe selling a really low mint of something to just put it there in front of more eyes so that more long-time collectors are going to see it. But at the end of the day, I don't know. Not really something that I'm buzzing about, but it's a good addition for them to add. And again, helps with people spending points. Finally, MCP Pro, and this is something they added that I was really interested in. It's designed for those collectors who want to take their collecting to the next level. With MCP Pro, collectors can gain exclusive features within VEVE to grow their collection and access additional pro-only features. Collectors in the top 6 ranks will automatically gain access to MCP Pro at no cost, whereas all other collectors who opt in will be charged a monthly subscription, prices to be shared later date. The subscription will be accessible only above a specific level. Now this again is really interesting. They are rewarding people who are using the app and who are at the top levels to get MCP Pro, which is here and it's going to show the features. Small percentage bonus on all points earned, exclusive MCP Pro badge to display in showrooms, premium user profile badge, display rarity and edition next to collectible in the showroom and AR, auto bid feature for market auctions, access to exclusive content, accessories and collectibles, burn collectibles for points, and more. Now there's quite a few things in there that are interesting and things we haven't heard before. We knew about obviously the badges you could get, the premium display, small percentage of bonus points, but the display rarity in addition next to the collectible for people who are real OGs and they have like Risso 40, then this is going to be insane having that sort of stuff. The best I have is Ghost Trap 55, and then I believe I have the Jaws poster 100, but these are going to be cool. These are going to be so cool to display in your showroom and to have people, especially when people can come to your showroom, they can see your stuff, and in the VEVE-verse and your VEVE house, they can come to it and they can see. Having those rarities are going to be quite cool. That's something I like to find out and I like to see, especially when we get to like season 10 and you're seeing a season 1, you're like, oh my god, what edition do you have? What rarity is it? Because I can't even remember this drop. That will be a really interesting one. Auto bid feature for market auctions. This is an interesting one. Right now, auctions need fixed. There's a 3-day auction that you can do at the moment. Now, I come from a FIFA background and I used to be an avid trader on FIFA. So I'm used to 1 hour auctions that you can put up, or you can set any time. It was 1, 3, 6, 9, 12, 1 day and 3 days for the auctions. I'm hoping VEVE have been paying attention to the FIFA market and how they actually do it, because that's probably one of the best markets for this sort of stuff that have ever been created. I've made a video talking about this and how they could go about doing it. So I hope they have listened in that front and maybe have seen it potentially in the future to work with them in order to make it. But auto bid feature will basically be if you're sleeping and you really want this collectible, you're willing to bid up to a certain amount, then that can sort of auto bid for you up to that front. I'm not really sure how that will work if you just put in, I'm willing to pay 300 maximum, and if it instantly goes to 300 and then you get it. Now, of course, you're still winning at the end of the day because that's what you're willing to pay. But in my eyes, for me, when it comes to bidding, I try to get it on the best deal. So I'm not going to go to my maximum right away. I'm going to try and get it on a better deal, working my way up. I'm not really sure how that'll work yet. I'm hoping to hear more about that in the future, but it will be interesting to see. Another 2, access to exclusive content, accessories and collectibles. This was one I was really looking forward to and hoped they had done. MCP Pro is basically a subscription like Netflix, Spotify, so you always get benefits with that. And I think having specific MCP Pro collection drops are a great way to reward people who are a part of this. Because at the end of the day, the people who are not in the top 6 ranks have to pay for MCP Pro. And that means they're spending gems or they're spending dollars every month in order to get a part of this. And having that and having access to like exclusive drops within MCP Pro is just not only a great way to reward people who are a part of this, 2, to also add great burning features, more circulation in the ecosystem, and more collectors within themselves. Or these can be specific things related to MCP Pro. So I really, really like this. And the final one was burn collectibles for points. Now, this was amazing. I've seen some companies do diminishing collectibles and diminishing tokens and all that really, really well before, and this can work great if done in the right front. Obviously, burning collectibles are going to remove more from the ecosystem and are going to remove more from the market. meaning prices are probably going to shoot up for certain ones that are burned. Maybe the cheapest one can actually give you quite good burn points, and if you're really going for something, then maybe it's worthwhile leading up to it to buy common comic at $10, and then you're burning that to get more points. So you're buying and burning, and they're going out of circulation, and then they're wagering those points into the lottery system. So you can see how this sort of circle can work really, really well if done correctly. Now, if the burn doesn't match the collectible itself, it's not going to work great. I know they're going to work on this over time, but that's something to pay attention to, something to make sure that we have. And the final thing, because I've been recording for 30 minutes, which is the longest I've ever done, but the roadmap, they have 4 phases that they're going to be doing. Each phase is going to be focused on key aspects of it. So as I said in the previous video, they're not going to be releasing this just a one full swoop and they're hoping that it works. They're going to be doing points, levels, and ranks first. Phase 2 is going to be the drop lottery, 3 accessories and premium market listings badges, and phase 4 is MCP Pro. So I'm not expecting to see this until, as I said, maybe mid next year for the full phase out of all of this, because by next year, obviously they're hoping to have different things adjusted. On a new chain, we'll work out all the nitty gritty details that we need to do once we move, because there's probably going to be some issues once we move, and all that sort of stuff. Now, there is an FAQ here that you can read for yourself. I'm not going to go into further detail because I have been talking for a long time, but that is an overview of everything you're going to need to know in regards to the Master Collector program, what you should be paying attention to moving forward. This blew my mind when I saw that, because we've just announced Disney, and then you're like, you know what, here's the Master Collector program as well. VEVE are killing it at the moment, and if you're not paying attention to the only company that truly is creating this innovative space in regards to IPs and the biggest brands in the world, then I think you're going to miss out a lot on some of the things that they are bringing in the future. I know the video on the screen will be something you'll love to watch. Have a fantastic day.